Hi guys, I'm here today to do something a little different. Instead of reviewing something like a film. No, I don't really do that often, but I have done in the past. I'm going to be reviewing an EP. It just leaked today. It's due out the 18th, so this Tuesday, the same day as the new Blink 182 EP. I'm talking about the Angels and Airwaves Stomping the Phantom brake pedal. So I just need to move my camera. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly talk about, and I really do need to move this so it looks straight instead of like, there we go, that looks fine. Yeah, I'm going to quickly talk about the previous albums before I get to the EP. I really do like Angels and Airwaves. I'm a huge fan. We Don't Need Whispers, I think, is a great album. My favourite song on that is The Adventure, which is probably my favourite Angels and Airwaves song, just because, I don't know, it's really good, I think. I Empire was also good. It's not as good as We Don't Need to Whisper, but it does have some really good songs. And the only one that I own on CD, I got this when we went on a school trip. We went on a school trip to Belgium. They had this in one of the shops when we stopped off in France on the way home. It was Love albums, the part 1 and part 2. I really did like both these albums. So when I found out about this new just I wanted to delete something. When I found out about this new EP, I was really excited. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. So I thought, it's leaked, I might as well just give it a listen, see if I am still gonna get it, or whether I'm gonna say, you know, that's not that good, I'm not gonna get it. And my opinion wasn't what I wanted it to be. I really did not like it, to be honest. So it's a double EP, kind of. It's got 8 songs altogether, and yeah, it's got 3 new songs, one called Diary. Well, as they're presented on here, the first EP is called something like Score something, I don't know. So the first one's called Real 1 Diary, or how a lot of people just call it Diary. Then there's Real 5 New Blood, don't know why it skips a few reels, but yeah. And people call that New Blood, and then the last one's called Real 6, and that's it, just doesn't have an extra name, just Real 6. So, well, I don't know, it doesn't for my leak version here, but yeah, and the second disc EP thing is basically the Love Part 2, I know, it's both the Love albums. There's like a few remixes. There's 5 remixes from just random songs, and the songs that they did a remix of are Surrender, Epic Holiday, Young London, Anxiety, and Saturday Love. So let's break it down. I'll talk about each song individually. So let's go. Real 1 Diary, or how I call it Diary. Great song. I heard this ages ago. It was released a couple months ago. And because it was part of gold package for people that are subscribed to the Angels and Airwaves website, something like that. And yeah, it came one of the gold packages, and it went onto YouTube almost instantly as soon as it came out. And then eventually, Angels and Airwaves released a music video just with some of their backstage tour and some of their concert clips, and it was really, really good song. It runs 7 minutes 42 seconds, so that's quite a long song. I think it's the longest Angels and Airwaves song they've ever done. But and it pretty much has hardly any singing in it. The only singing is, there's a tiny bit of singing, but you can hardly hear it. That was the whole point. It's got, like Tom DeLonge's voice always does in the Angels and Airwaves songs, it has tons of effects added onto it. But this one, it has tons of effects that make it so you can hardly hear the voice. But that was their intention. Because the song's called Diary, it's meant to be like hidden, so you don't really know what they're saying. So, yeah, that's a really good song. One of Angels and Airwaves' best, to be honest. Because it is really explosive. It's tons of instruments, which you rarely get from Angels and Airwaves. You normally just get effects or electronic sounds. This has a lot of effects and electronic sounds, but it's mainly hidden behind all the instruments, which is good, and it is just a great song. It is, I wouldn't say it's easy to listen to, because I've found it's gotten easier to listen to each time I've listened to it. The first time I was like, I don't like this, it's alright. I mean, they could have made his voice a bit louder or something. But I was thinking that was just the Gold Patch version. They'll probably release a re-edited version when the EP comes out. Now I listened to it when they released the music video. I listened to it a few more times, and then I kind of worked out what the kind of meaning of the song is, and saw it, someone put it in the comments. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense actually, that's a good idea, and I really enjoyed it from then on, and still do enjoy it. What's weird is when you listen to it, because the intro, the bit where it's just going, it's getting louder, goes on for like a minute. By the time the song ends, you're like, wait, where did those 7.5 minutes go? But yeah, it's a really good one. Track 2 is called Real 5, New Blood, or just New Blood. Awful song, it really is an awful song. It's pretty much the same riffs going on for about 5 minutes. That's pretty much all I can say. No singing. In fact, I don't think any of the the first EP has much singing except the Diary. The other two songs, not EPs, the other two songs do not have a single bit of singing in it. So New Blood really is not a good song. It just isn't. Diary seems like it's kind of like the big explosive, the killer song. Like you have on most albums, you have killers and you have the fillers, which aren't as good. So Diary is the killer, and New Blood and Real 6 are the filler. And you do not want to do that when you've got an EP out, because EP can only have a limited amount of songs. There's only 3 on the first EP, and the second one doesn't really count as an EP because it's just remixes. So you need to try and make it all explosive, all killer, and because if you have filler, people are going to change their opinion on the EP, which is why I'm hoping that the Blink EP is more killer. But from what I've heard from the previews and Boxing Day, which they played on Radio 1, which I love that song, it seems like all killer, whereas this isn't. It's just Diary is killer, the rest is filler. So New Blood is pretty much just the same riff repeated over and over again. So the first time you hear the riff, you're like, yeah, it's alright, it's not Angels and Airwaves. Seems more kind of like classical, it's kind of strange sort of riff, but that's not Angels and Airwaves. And then the song ends, you're like, so it's just that riff. I was hoping it would build up, and then boom, like Diary did, it built up with the same sort of like doo doo doo. Doesn't sound like that. That's sort of just the same riff, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's a new riff mixed in with the old riff. It's kind of like a new big riff thing, and it kind of works, and the singing comes in, and it's really it's really good. And then you get to New Blood, and even Real 6 is the same thing, where it's just a couple riffs, or even just one riff, just repeated for about 5 minutes, and then you're like, well, why was that just that? It should have been a lot more than it actually was, which I think is the only thing that suffers on this EP. Real 6 is better than New Blood, but it still isn't good. Again, no singing, the same couple of riffs. I think it has more riffs in Real 6, but it's still not good. I mean, New Blood and Real 6 would have been alright if they were on, because Love at Part 1 and 2, the first one has a song called Et du sit mundum de perlus. Don't know, I think it's French, I'm not sure, I don't speak French, so I wouldn't know. But that is a non-singing song. That's alright for an intro, because it's only about 2 minutes, and then it leads straight into Flight of the Apollo, which is a great song. So New Blood or Real Six would have been alright for like the first song in the album if it just led into the next one straight away, and it was like boom, there's the next song. But it really doesn't. It just kind of happens and then ends, and it doesn't really have much of an effect on you. So that's what I think this EP is really lacking. So I'm going to talk about the Love Revisited, I think it's called, which is the remixes. So they are all awful by the way. Surrender, I really like the song Surrender. In fact, I like all the songs in it, the remix of Surrender. One of my favourites on Love Part 2, and they really did ruin it. Epic Holiday feel the same way. Young London is the one that everyone seems to really like so far on Facebook, through all the Blink fan pages and Angels and Airwaves fan pages. Everyone seems to like Young London remix. I can't say Young London, it just doesn't sound right. London, I keep saying that. So that song, that remix is alright. It's not awful, but it's not amazing. The song I can't say Young London. Young London, the song, is a good song, but the remix kind of isn't. Anxiety is the worst of the remixes, and then Saturday Love is a bit better. But the remixes, here's the main problem the remixes have. They take the a cappella version of the song, and then they change basically the key of the remix bit in the background. Half of it doesn't go with the vocals. I mean, there's one time where you get the vocals are singing, and then all of a sudden the key changes in the middle of the thing. It goes to a new chord instead of going when the original song goes that way, and it just shouldn't. I mean, there was people posting on this page that I like on Facebook saying, go check out this guy, he's done a remix of all the Love Part 1 and Part 2, all the songs on there, and he's done a couple of We Don't Need to Whisper and I Am Pie songs, and his remixes are really good. But I mean, the actual Angels and Airwaves remixes, the band ones, aren't as good. It's kind of like they've done the George Lucas approach, where they've taken these songs and go, here's some better one, but it's not, it's worse. And you've got Greedo shooting first and Jabba the Hutt walking through in New Hope. But yeah, the remixes aren't that good. Young London, I said it, that one is alright. It's not awful, nothing special, but it's a good listen. So yeah, that's Stomping the Phantom Brake Pedal. The Diary is the good song, and the rest is just filler. Except for Young London. Did I say it? Did I say Young London? I think so. Except for Young London, which is better than the other songs, but not as good as Diary. Not Remix. It's not as good as Diary. So yes, thanks for watching my review of Stomping the Phantom Brake Pedal, the new EP by Angels and Airwaves. I'll probably have one out when the new Blink album comes out. Okay, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you soon.